Hello, everybody. Hi there. So it's me, Jillian Leslie. I am going to adjust my screen here. Okay, I'm founder of Catch My Party, founder of Milo Tree, the pop-up app, and host of the Blogger Genius podcast, and founder of this group. So thank you guys for showing up for this. I wanted to pop in here because I just recorded a podcast episode with my very good friend, Elisa Meredith from Tailwind. And we talked about what's been going on Pinterest. And I think it's going to be a great episode. I'm going to go live with it a week from today. But I just wanted to give a little recap of how we were talking about Pinterest and the change that is going on at Pinterest. So the first thing is, in February, Pinterest came out, and what did they say? They said, we want new content on the platform. And what they defined that to be was new pins, right? So it could be a pin connected to an old piece, an old URL, an old blog post. But as long as it was a new pin, guess what? Pinterest saw that as new content. However, I think that a lot of publishers and content creators and bloggers saw this as a great opportunity. I will make 50 pins for an old piece of content, pin them all to the platform, and get a bunch of traffic. And of course, if you are Pinterest, you're thinking, oh no, that's not a good idea, because in truth, that's like spamming the platform. So Pinterest now has changed it and said, new content is a new pin that comes from a new blog post, like a new URL. Well, of course, a bunch of people freaked out about that, thinking, wait a second, in order to do well on Pinterest now, I've got to be churning out all these blog posts so that I could have new URLs, new web addresses for my content. Well, that's not exactly true. What Pinterest is saying is that that content will probably get the most juice, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all your other content or all your other pins are not going to matter. Of course they matter. Again, think about it in terms of your Pinterest. What is most useful for you? What's most useful for you is people, content creators, publishing new pins connected to new content. That makes a lot of sense. But does it mean that old content, is no longer relevant? Of course not. So that's how I want you to think about this. Yeah, creating new content is awesome. And Pinterest wants you to do that. And they want you to have new pins connected to that new content, of course. But does that mean that old content still won't succeed? So some of our oldest pins, like we have certain holiday pins, and every holiday, every time Christmas shows up, these pins just skyrocket to the top for us. So those are old pins and they're working great for us, but it's because people are looking for solutions. We're offering up solutions and those pins do well. So it's not magic, and this is the truth. There isn't a way to game the system. There was, when platforms are newer, we can find these ways where we can kind of exploit the weaknesses of the platform. Remember back in the day, the beginning of Pinterest, you'd look at your feed and you would have like somebody has pinned a pin and they've pinned it into like 30 boards, and you'd see that exact same pin show up 30 times. Not a great experience from Pinterest's point of view, so they fixed that. So now in your feed, you're not going to see that same pin. Chances are back in the day, if you pinned that pin to 30 boards, probably got more traffic. But again, it's not a good experience for the user using Pinterest. So we're going to talk about this a lot in the episode, but I wanted to kind of just give you some highlights. I think the best way to have success on Pinterest is to align yourself with Pinterest, where what's good for Pinterest is good for you. Should you create new content? Of course, but that's good for your business as well. But if you can find solutions to problems that people are having, that's how you have success, not by spamming the platform. And again, it's hard because a lot of us are solopreneurs. We don't have a big staff. We're doing it all ourselves. So if you typically, you just kind of create a bunch of pins and throw them up on Pinterest. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. Probably not a great strategy. However, if you can take a moment and think about how is this content useful for somebody who has a problem, somebody who needs inspiration, and I can serve it up in a way where it helps people, that's how you have success on the platform. And that's how you get traffic on the platform. And then that person comes to your blog, and if you're helpful, they will follow you. They will join your list. They will become an evangelist for you. So it's a win-win. Therefore, please, I think it's kind of, we all do this. I remember back in the day when when Facebook wouldn't send us any more traffic, and I would think Facebook hates me. And Facebook doesn't hate me, and Pinterest, it doesn't hate us. It's just an algorithm. So again, learning the algorithm, learning what the goal of the algorithm is. Like, we're never going to know how the algorithm, can't even say that word, how the algorithm really works. They don't tell you. Like, Google doesn't tell you how their algorithm works, because you better believe there'd be people who would be trying, and people are always trying to figure out how to use the algorithm to win. But as I said in this podcast episode, and I'll share it here, the best way to win, for example, on Google today is to create the best content. And I would argue that the best way to win on Pinterest today is to create content that's really useful and that helps people. I wish there were like, go do this, 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 and this, and here's the secret. If anybody is selling you a secret, I will say don't buy that solution, because there are no real secrets. It's just being helpful, empathetic, thinking about what you offer and how it's useful for people, and communicating that usefulness. Like, that's the secret. So please, I will be promoting this again next week, but we just got off the call or the Zoom call, and I just had to share this because I hope that this gives you comfort and gives you some way to feel like you can understand the platform. And one last thing I want to leave you with. Somebody might have a solution that works for them and is giving them a lot of traffic on Pinterest, but that doesn't mean that it will work for you. So if it doesn't, if you try it, and they say, here's the solution, and then you try it and it doesn't work for you, A, like, Pinterest isn't evil, and two, you're not a failure, because everybody's account is different. We're all in different niches. We all, there's so many signals that go into algorithms that you can't, even Pinterest, a lot of the engineers don't even know how the algorithm actually works, and they're constantly tweaking it and changing it. So again, it's really looking at it from your account and what's working for you. And if you find something that works, build off of it. Meaning, you have pins and they do really well, make pins that look similar, or that kind of take it in a slightly new direction. So think about it from your perspective. Of course, input from others is incredibly helpful, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will work for you. What will work for you is what's working for you, and figuring out how to go deeper into that, and how really, at the end of the day, to be of service, to be helpful, to be useful, to see where somebody is and help them on their journey. That's the magic. Okay, hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please just, leave a comment. If you watch the replay, please say #replay. And my episode with Elisa is going live Wednesday, a week from today. So there you go. If you have any questions about this, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you. All right, take care. Bye-bye.